Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Noobie Chronicles Part 3. This is the path of a beginner. I thought this would be a neat little thing to do, kind of like my thought process right now as far as what I'm going to be putting in my bag. Right now I've got this bag that I'm using, and it doesn't quite store all the discs that I have. I guess kind of starting out, you kind of get in this disc buying frenzy and you buy all these different kinds of discs because you just want to try them out. You want to get a feel for these different kinds of plastics, or maybe they have different flight characteristics that you want to use. Those all just kind of, I don't know, have different variations that you might want to try out and you might want to test out. So I don't know, I've got a lot of discs, but don't have the space for them. So what do I need to do? I need to select some discs that, one, I'm confident in, and two, they'll give me shots that I can use for specific situations. And three, I really don't want a lot of the same discs unless I'm fearful of losing it, and maybe it's one of those discs that I've really, really just have a lot of faith in, and it's my go-to disc. So I guess starting off, we'll start off with some of the discs that I'm going to use, I guess, for putting. Now, first off, I have a lot of putters, but doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be using them on a frequent basis. Some of them are just ones that I use for practicing or letting other people use, like my girlfriend or my family or whoever I'm playing with. If they don't have one, sometimes I'm with some friends that are just starting for the first time. Hashtag try to grow the sport, trying to get them to play. So it's nice to have something that they can use. But I really like this one. It's from Westside Disc. It's the Crown. It's a great disc, but I haven't really been using it too often. It's a BT hard plastic. It's really good, but I've just been kind of practicing with other putters, so I feel a little bit more confident with those right now. So I'm just trying to get my putting game strong right there, and we'll go from there. So on ones where I'm just kind of like driving and kind of approaching with putters, I like to use the harp. I get some pretty good distance on that, and has a nice little fade at the end of it. I like the hard plastic. It feels good in my hands. The other one is the Mega Soft Shield. I like this because if it hits something, it usually just falls. I've had pretty good luck with it, just catching the ground and not really moving. Let's see, so the other discs I've been using are the Novas. Some of y'all might not like them because of the edges. They might feel a little bit extra rubbery and might be a little bit bouncy if it hits off the pole, but for me it's been working pretty well for those straight shots. I don't really typically have a lot of highs or do a lot of fancy stuff. I kind of just like to throw straight at the pole, but I'll know I'll probably have to get those down eventually, but we'll see if I stay with these kinds of putters or maybe incorporate some other types of putting in my game. But this is one that I'll probably be keeping in my bag for a bit, just because I'm used to it, I'm comfortable with it, and I kind of want to just stick with what I'm comfortable with at first while I'm learning it. The other one that I like is the G-Star Dart. It's got a really nice feel to it. It's kind of really similar to the Nova, but it's just a little bit faster. No fade, no turn. It's just kind of the same thing, but I can get a little bit more distance out of it. So if I'm kind of looking for the same shot, I'll use both of these when I'm putting, but they've been pretty good. So these are two that I'm probably gonna definitely be keeping in my bag. You know, like I said initially, I'm kind of sorting out my discs and choosing which ones I want, because I don't have all that space in my bag to house all the different discs that I have, so I kind of want to be selective. And the other thing I think it's important is making sure that you don't have multiple different variations of a disc where you second guess or question yourself. You know, sometimes simplifying what you have can kind of make it easier on you, I guess. You know, where you're like, oh, I only have this disc, so I'm just going to focus in on this shot, instead of like having two slightly similar but somewhat different discs where you're going to be kind of questioning yourself. Let's see. I've really started to like these Understable discs. They've been pretty awesome, and I can get a good amount of distance with them. As far as Understable discs go, let's see. What I have so far are my hatchet. It's a speed 9. I'm still trying to get the form down to kind of give me some good arm speed to completely utilize this thing, but it flies pretty darn good on a forehand, kind of a flick shot. Still trying to get it down on the backhand. That one's giving me some testing for sure. But yeah, this is one that I'm definitely going to be keeping in my bag. I like to have a few options for Understable discs. The Valkyrie, man, this is a Champion Valkyrie. Cool little design, but this thing's been flying beautifully, especially for my forehand and also for rollers. I've actually been able to utilize this and cut down a few strokes on some of the holes that I'm normally just getting pars. I've been able to get you know, at least within range to make a good birdie shot on those. So definitely glad I picked this one up. Championship plastic Valkyrie, good one. The Tursus, like I said, it's a kind of a mid-range Understable disc. I've enjoyed using that. The Felon, I'm still kind of getting a feel for this one. I guess it's not really Understable, but kind of like to have something like this in the bag. It's more of a overstable disc, actually. It's very overstable. It's got a turn of 0.5 and a fade of 4. But yeah, that did it for all of my Understable discs. I kind of want to get another Underworld back again. But as far as that goes, those are my only Understable discs. Let's see, what are some of the other ones I have? As far as, I think we did putters. Let me see, mid-ranges. I like the Buzz, the Rock. This is the new Pine. That's from the Trilogy Challenge. The Atlas. And my favorite is definitely the Warship. I can get this thing to fly straight, and it has a little bit of fade there at the end. But man, I just love the way this thing flies. I got tournament plastic. It's probably my favorite plastic from the West Side disc lineup. But yeah, if you don't have a Warship and you want something that flies straight and can get a little bit more distance than a mid-range, definitely check this out. It's a very, very nice disc. I also picked it up in the Moonshine, you know, the glow, because I was like, I want one that I can, you know, typically use at night. But one of the other things that I was looking for was a lighter disc. One of the things, you know, that I was kind of learning is that you don't necessarily have to have the max weight all the time. You know, max weight is helpful when it's a windy condition, but on days when it's calm, you know, dropping that weight of the disc down might help you increase your distance by, you know, few 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even more. You know, a lighter disc, you're going to be able to, you know, get more power behind it. You know, the weight of the disc isn't going to come down as much as, you know, say a 175, 180 disc. Versus this is a 166, I think it is, warship. So, yeah, I love all those mid-ranges. I like to have those kinds of options. The one that I'm kind of still questioning is probably this pine. I'm still kind of getting used to it. Oh, this is a great one. Frontline Mortar, okay? This is a special VIP series edition from Infinite Disc. They have like a club membership. Looks really cool. Feels even cooler. This is a great disc, you know. It flies pretty straight, but then has a nice predictable fade at the end. And man, that feel is just spot on. Definitely would recommend checking out the Infinite Disc VIP membership kind of thing. It's like $20 a month, you know. It's kind of like a Loot Crate subscription if you've ever done that. I kind of canceled my Loot Crate and decided to do this since I'd rather, you know, be getting something that I'd be throwing from now on versus a bunch of junk. So that was most of my mid-ranges. Oh yeah, and then the Truth, of course. EMAC Truth, definitely a great disc to have. It's got a nice little fade on there, goes pretty straight. You can put some good power on that and expect it to finish. Let's see, as far as drivers go, I like the West Side Disc Longbowman. I'm a big West Side Disc fan. This one has a lot of fade to it, okay? So I've been using this for, man, just a lot of great shots. It can get a good amount of distance on my drives, and I can pretty much count on it to go the way I want it to and finish left and fade pretty well. I've also been using this for some forehands, and it's been pretty reliable because sometimes you want to make sure you have a disc that's going to finish, you know, the way that you want it to. Even if you're not necessarily trying to get that distance, sometimes it might be a good idea to just use a driver just because you're going to want to make sure that it's going to retain those characteristics of that flight. So like if I'm, you know, maybe I'm in mid-range slash putter range kind of, and I want something that I can use a forehand or something that will just, you know, come in like a little bit of a forehand with a little bit of a, I guess, kind of a turn just to the right, and this thing will pretty much every time just go right, and it's nice to have something that you can trust like that. The Leopard, this thing's been pretty reliable. I think this is a good disc to have. It's somewhat understable, a little bit of fade, but I mean, it's one of those discs that I'm going to get some decent distance while I'm still kind of working on my form, and you know, that little bit of understability that a disc has helps someone like me as a beginner to improve my distance while I'm still kind of lacking in the form department. But yeah, I think it's a good idea to have understable discs, especially as a beginner. You don't need all these overstable, extremely overstable discs because you're just going to start throwing them and boom. Like, a good example of that for me was the Star Destroyer, okay? Watched all these videos. Paul Macbeth, oh yeah, he's always throwing the Star Destroyer. You gotta get me one of those. Well, I'm sorry, but this thing, for me, as a beginner, it's just gonna pretty much go about 150 feet and then start turning left. I don't know, maybe 200 feet, but I don't know. This thing's definitely turning left pretty fast for me. Or fading left, I guess you could say. So yeah, I really don't... Sometimes I'll just take this with me if I want to have something that I'm looking for that specific shot to come around. Something hard like that. But most of the time, I can just get that with something else. So this is probably something that I'll probably just leave out of my bag until I improve my form. Yeah, a lot of these other discs are ones that don't necessarily need to be in my bag. So like I said, need to find the right disc for the bag. Don't need to find all these different duplicates. Don't need to find stuff I'm not going to be throwing. All of that kind of plays a role. Let's see. The river's been pretty good for me. This is one of the rivers that I got. Looks pretty neat. I thought I'd pick it up. But yeah, I think that's most of the bag. Some of the other things, I guess, for my in the bag is I like to have a ball. Okay, my disc gets stuck up in the tree. You know, hashtag Noobie problems. Got a ball, chunk it up there, get that disc back. Paid $20. Don't want to just throw $20 up in the tree. The other thing that I came across is this. It's a 25-foot measuring tape, and what you can do is it holds its rigidity, and you can just extend this and poke it out of the tree. And it's nice because you could also use it to get it, you know, out of the water. It has that nice little lip right there, and you don't have to be carrying a big cumbersome stick, and you can use that instead of hauling whatever else around. So yeah, definitely two nice things to have. The ball is kind of nice because if it's out of range for the measuring tape, you can use that. Sandbag, you know, if you're here in Texas, you know it gets humid a lot, so gotta have one of those. Or else you can just grab some dirt. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Little towel. You know, gotta dry off the discs, and I think that's about it.